Hey, what's up, y'all? Back again with another visual podcast. This is a Light in the Sky, the 4400 recap show, and I'm your co-host, Rhayne Coleman, the Carefree Blurred, and I have with me, like I do every single episode. This should not be a surprise. What's up, Robert?
Hey, what's going on, party people? This is the place to be. Tag team is back again
Hey, all
for
right,
the faux
all right. Ah,
people like shut
man.
your old ass up.
No, F that, F that. You know, you just said the
Yeah.
80s and 90s is back in style. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, man, we are back. We are back. Yeah, season one, episode 11. You only meant well. While Shanice helps to prepare the Bois Blanc, well, they really are. They're really pushing for the name of this hotel towards
Thank
the
you.
end of the
Okay, so
season.
I thought it was just
I'm
me.
like,
I thought it was
what?
just me.
The Bois Blanc for a celebration. Others are preparing for war. Now, I thought this was a pretty good description of the episode without giving too many spoilers. I thought that was pretty good.
hmm
Where we at, man? Episode 11.
Um, I it's
Yo.
you know, I'm still middle of the road. Like
Okay.
I am no longer, I'm just going to admit it, I'm no longer at the highs at which I
Uh huh.
was with those first few episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of middle of the road right now.
Okay.
There were things that worked in this
Mhm.
episode. There were many
Mhm.
things that didn't.
Mhm.
One of them begins with M.
Oh,
So,
we on the same page. We on the
so,
same page.
um,
Yeah.
so I'm middle of the road right now. How
Okay.
about you? How about you?
I think that's fair. I
Yeah.
am the same. Now I know myself. I've learned a lot about myself. And when I'm live tweeting, boy, I'm in it. I'm like, yeah, this, and that. But when I have time to sit with the episode, I'm
Yeah.
much like you. I have
hmm
concerns. And I think for me, one of the biggest issues is that we only have 13 episodes. And there is a lot of shit crammed in. And
Yeah.
there is no season two scheduled at the
Yeah.
time of this recording. That's what is kind of making me like, and to get ahead a little bit, Mildred's sister. Like, have they even cast this person yet? It's like we didn't need that storyline.
Yeah, I think now we'll get to that because I saw a couple
Yeah.
things in a preview which might
Okay.
answer that question.
Okay.
So
Cool. Cool. Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, but all in all, I'm like you. I think I'm probably a little bit more optimistic than you are, but I'm
hmm
we in the same boat as
yeah,
far as the excitement from the top of the season to now.
yeah.
So
So like I'm on the you know how like when the Titanic turned upside down in the movie,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm at that halfway point where I'm starting to feel the freezing water, and that's the only thing I can think about. Like
Yo,
this is cold, and I might die. So
yeah, yeah.
um,
This is
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
yeah.
Um, okay, so
We can, I
what?
mean, just like we've been doing pros and cons,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we for people who are new to the podcast, we when we were reviewing the previous series from USA Network, we would
Hmm.
go scene by scene.
Yeah.
But this one it seems like just doing the pros and cons, so we can
Hey.
seems to work better. Shout out
Yeah.
to Cole and Rain for Black Lightning Days.
Yes, yes, yes.
But
Uh,
what's something that worked or didn't work for you as far as the
Worked and
jump
didn't
thing?
work. Um. Okay, I have a ton of notes.
hmm
Claudette, I think, is a cheap one for me because I'm always
Okay.
seen Claudette, but
Yeah.
she did work for me. I feel like every scene she's in, she's in. Like
hmm
that's her. That's her scene. I hate the predicament she was put in
hmm
towards the middle of this episode, but I also hate that it happened at all. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, why couldn't this just, well, whatever, be her doing what she wanted to do for
Yep.
the cause?
Yep.
But like, you just strip away all of her little bit of, like, I don't want to
hmm
say agency because she's still doing what she want to do, but like all of
hmm
her being the in you. Okay, long story short, somebody else is the
Yeah.
reason why we saw her making the tear gas and rallying the
Hmm.
troops and recruiting Mildred. And I'm just like, we already went through this with her in the past with her husband.
Yeah.
Why do we have to go through this with her being a second tier person again in present day? That just doesn't fit with
Yeah.
her personality, not to me. But so she worked, but the situation didn't.
Yep. Um, because I'm going to jump right into
Come on.
what you what you are. You're not even dancing around it. You just like I
Hey.
think we're trying to save this part of the episode, the discussion, and we can
Yeah.
just go into it now.
Hey. Yes.
Manny ain't fresh for me no more. And a large part of it in this episode was because and I'm not going to say her agency, but the thing of now, if you want to say like it's ludicrous that she was learning how to make tear gas bombs, that's one thing, but that's
Yeah.
something that we've accepted that goes
Hmm.
back into where back during the civil rights
Right.
movement, that's where she
Hmm.
was heading. That was her, she I don't want to say radical with it, but she wanted to be more proactive, with
Yes.
what the stuff that they were doing, or more
Hmm.
action oriented, and knuckling up, as the kids
Yes.
say. And so when she came back and they established that she was learning how to do this and that or whatever, the origin story that we have for this episode is that Manny was the recruited her and stabbed her to teach her how to use her abilities. And I don't like that, like you said, that part of her storyline now is attached to, or basically he jump started the fact that she's now a revolutionary.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't jiving with that too much. And with him in general, they got this man doing a lot. He has superpowers. He's a
Bruh.
resistance leader. He's a
Bruh.
government worker. He's
Hmm.
a science theorist,
Hmm.
whatever. And
Yeah.
there's a lot going on with him that I'm not, it's not working for me.
At
And
all.
one of my favorite parts where I think I kind of fell out of the chair or my couch when I was watching it with my wife, who was when he came out of that phone booth, because he was hiding in the phone booth. Every time he popped up from behind the bar, and then when he came out of the phone booth, I lost it. I was just like the ridiculousness, and there's a lot of ridiculousness in this
Oh
episode.
yes.
We're gonna
Oh
get to one
yes.
of my favorites, and
My
shout out
God.
to all the Star Trek Voyager fans, because
Ah.
that shit made me sad.
Yeah.
Um, but Manny is we've had 2 episodes with him, and it's not working for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that in general, that was one of my cons for this episode. I just it
Yeah.
I've been trying, but there's
Yeah.
just something, and especially with, once again, with what happens at the end. But that's a good point as far as him and Claudette. You know,
Yeah. Hmm. Hated it.
yeah.
Hated it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. He is my con as well. Um I I don't want to be rude. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. I don't like the acting style of the actor. And
Hmm.
that's nothing against him. I mean, because I feel
Hmm.
like he feels in line with a CW actor, but I
Hmm.
don't like him for this role. I honestly wish, or would be interested to see what it would have looked like if him and the Rev, the actor, I forget his name who plays Rev, if they switch roles. Because I don't having Manny be the Jordan Collier, the official Jordan Collier of this new series is like I don't think he's strong enough for that.
Right.
I don't. He's not a strong enough character for that. So I don't know.
Well, the other thing is, and like we get into this where we're comparing the two. Jordan didn't
Mhm.
start off as the radical. Jordan didn't start. Jordan was a rich, smarmy ass, or like he was a
Yes.
business tycoon, and
Yes.
then he, what happened to him happened, and then he
Yep.
came back changed. They didn't
Mhm.
give him like 5 different roles within
Bruh.
2 episodes.
Yeah.
It was like
Ugh.
we didn't even have time for him to develop,
Mhm.
to, like I said, there's a lot of stuff. And I think what the
Yeah.
explanation is because he worked for the government, but then he's
Hmm.
had the issue with the government that radicalized him, in addition to knowing about this like TM, and I it for me it's just uh, there's something with the acting for me that is
Hmm.
just kind of like not jobbing where I can accept all of that.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. Because I was
yeah,
going to say, well, they gave it. This is our second time seeing him,
hmm,
but we've had other characters who've had less time,
hmm,
and then you had a feeling about them right away. Hell, even Claudette and Rev, like by episode one's end, we
hmm,
had a sense of who they were. So I agree with you. And then again, it's no shots against him. The actor is doing what he's getting paid to do. It is what it is, but it is something about his performance that for me does not sell big, manipulative mastermind behind the
hmm,
scenes. It just doesn't.
yeah,
It doesn't feel authentic.
yeah. Like I said, just it just wasn't jiving for me with that, and
Hmm.
um, the so as far as like something that did work,
Hmm.
um, I didn't really mind, not even didn't mind. Actually, I like the opening,
Okay.
only because they re- and we've had this joke going this running joke about the cartoony racists that are
Yeah.
in the show,
Good lord.
but seeing them in this van, and they might have been over the top, but looking at things like what we've
Mm.
seen, like January
Hmm.
6th or whatever,
Yes.
those are the same people that would ride, or like riding
Hmm.
like that. So
Right. Right.
I
Right.
didn't really mind that so much, and I liked having LaDonna there to
Yeah.
kind of soak this up, this hate,
Hmm.
so that she could be the voice. Of not of reason, but just kind of warning people, like
Yeah.
you see what you're seeing on the news, but like I've been on the streets, and then we have what else
Hmm.
happened to her,
Hmm.
which is another discussion in and of itself. But
Yeah.
I didn't mind the opening where they were they looked at her, or her, her
Yes.
him, where she was like, "Carl, just quiet, oh man," and it was just like we gonna ride,
Yeah.
and it was just
Yeah.
it. So we got a little taste of what's to come with these racist or whatever,
Yeah.
the iguana haters or whatever you want to call them.
And and I do appreciate this part of the show,
Hmm.
because I think the writers' room did a really good job at tying in a lot of things, like you said, like the January 6th insurrection
Yeah,
thing, also the conspiracy theorists, reptile people
yeah,
type stuff. Like they, I think they effectively on that end did a really good job at just firmly putting a lot of different moving parts that we've experienced via social media and public broadcasting TV and whatever. Like I think they did a good job at effectively getting that point across. And
yeah,
so much like you, I didn't mind the opening. I especially didn't mind it once we saw how it tied back to LaDonna's story. So,
yeah.
and something about which is so weird that I'm giving this part praise. Something about that opening with the racist guys in the truck felt better to me than the security guards. Something about the security guards having this
Hmm.
4400 hatred feels weird to me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it was funny because the guards came in from jump, like
hmm.
and I don't know, like I think, or maybe it's just like I'm kind of far gone with certain aspects of the show that I'm like, I'm just accepting this. But I think also because, living in the world that we live in,
Hmm.
um, this was more, I mean, this was more acceptable or palatable for me. So,
Okay. Okay.
um, but yeah. So what else, either worked or didn't work for you?
um, what did work for me was LaDonna. Like the whole
Yeah.
episode, I
Hmm.
think the way I feel about Claudette is the way I felt about LaDonna in this episode. I feel like
Hmm.
you really do this episode and the things that happened to her
Hmm.
excuse her being away for so many
Yeah.
episodes, and it
Hmm.
feels like, oh, this stuff happened, she traveled back here. It
Hmm.
didn't feel like, oh, LaDonna's off learning how to mix cocktail drinks at bartender school. It felt like, no, she was actually
Yeah.
dealing with this.
Hmm.
Though she could have easily escaped, I
Yeah.
did like her whole performance this entire episode. She was a win for me.
Yeah. That was so in my notes. I said I liked that they gave a reason why LaDonna was gone, but dot 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 dot. Because for
Yeah.
me, I love Star Trek. You see it
Yes.
in the poster, the blueprint
Yes.
behind me. Deep Space Nine is my
Yes.
favorite. And anytime I see an actor from that world in any
Hmm.
of the other things that I like to watch,
Yeah.
is a special day for me.
Hmm.
But um, Tim Russ, who played the guy who played her father, I see what they were going for.
Going for it, yes.
They were going for, um, but it didn't land. And I still do like the reasoning or the rationale that
Hmm.
they gave for why she was gone. But the way that it played out, and I'm pretty sure it was like over. It seems like maybe it was weeks because they did show them like she's been away and people have kind of
Hmm.
talked about that
Hmm.
for a couple of episodes now. So I'm assuming like you know each episode is like a week, takes place in a week. So she's been gone for like maybe three
Yeah.
or 4 weeks, so
Yeah.
probably about a month. And
Hmm.
then we also see him changing clothes, but he was cartoony. He was cartoony for me, and I know that there are black folks out there like that. Like I said,
Hmm.
you got the one black guy running around at the Capitol, like I'm here, I'm the only one, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And but it just seemed like he was out of step with the show, and it just seemed really weird. Because like the my favorite part was when she created the iguanas and he
Bro.
the guy,
Yeah.
first of all, he brings in a guy who I guess he's a vet. He ain't even a vet. He was just like he just deal with wild animals. But their facial reactions or the way they got out of the room was so damn
Yeah.
over the top for me because
Yes.
he looked at her like and then ran out. It's just like
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
what am I watching? And I think it was kind of his delivery sometimes of the whole thing of, and so the other thing that my mind goes back to was like, this is who
Mm.
your mom married.
You know what? Because that, yeah, yeah.
I was just, I didn't see it. I did not see, them being, I mean, at least as they've established her mom, because when he said she talked her dad up in previous episodes, like he's
Hmm.
a sweet, caring, nice
Hmm.
guy who understands where she's coming from with her tech background, with
Yeah.
her love of computers, and
Hmm.
we didn't get none of that. We didn't
Oh,
get any of that. They talked about trains and old shit,
yeah.
and then he was like, "Let me watch my Republican ish or listen to that," and
Yeah.
there was
That was, yeah.
nothing that had been established about him that was brought forward. Um,
Nothing. Yeah.
it just and it irritated the heck out of me. It's just like I liked him, Russ. He was cool on Star Trek, but
Hmm.
he played a Vulcan, so maybe that's like why I'm used to it. Like he was very like low key, but this one he
Yeah.
was over the top.
Yeah.
Um, I that no, it didn't work for me.
Me either. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could have did without him. I think like you, and there's an argument to say, oh, maybe over the course of the years,
yeah,
he's hardened or
hmm
whatever, but not
right.
in a show where you only get
Yes,
50 minutes to tell a story. No,
yeah,
that wasn't that wasn't good.
yeah,
So yeah, no, I'm happy he's working, but I'm upset that this had to be it.
hmm
Um, and the friend he brought in, I'm just like, what do you? I'm really more upset that LaDonna didn't just climb out of a window. Like I feel like you could have just climbed out of a window.
That
I
first
mean,
day, she could have done that first day, but then after that, he boarded it up, and I'm like, so did you just stand there while he was just boarding the windows up?
you're clearly stronger. Not to get the men are always stronger than women. Whatever. He's an older man of a certain
Mhm,
age. You're a young woman preserved through time who
mhm.
also has the advantage of scaring him because you can create. At this point, he didn't even see what you could do. So
Right,
it's like
right.
I don't know. You should just turn it to your mom or something. But I digress. I was just like, leave this. Like,
Well,
leave, Ladonna.
and we know that there are cases of forced imprisonment, and not
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
belittle anybody who's going through that.
Hmm.
I think that if that had been done better, this is another. We always go
Yes.
back to this. Like if they had established that it would if we could have seen some progression of this man
Hmm.
just like losing his shit and
Yeah.
listening to this, it would have worked, but I understand that they wanted to use this episode for like this big flashback reveal
Yeah.
of what she had been dealing with.
Hmm.
And so, but that leaves us the opportunity to sit here and think like, well, shit, she could have, like, that first day, like if my parents started nutting up, I'm sorry, like, she's like, they locked the door, I'm breaking a window. Like,
Hey.
I'll try to reason with them for like maybe an hour, but after that,
Mm.
they'll have to call the police because I've either cut myself trying to open a window or
Yes.
just like start
Yes.
yelling. But I
Uh,
think that it, once again, we always talk about this with Black Lightning. It suffered because you didn't have a chance to kind
hmm.
of drop these seeds,
Yeah.
before we got to this like this dude like
Mm.
literally locking his daughter in the room.
And taking her
Um,
phone, like,
yeah.
okay. I
So
just,
it like I said, it just didn't work. But
yeah.
what about something that did work for you, Rhayne?
Something that did right. Look, what was the good stuff?
It's the good
Something
stuff.
that did work. Da, da, da. Honestly, though he didn't show up much, I think Logan for me worked in this episode.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Another thing that I do want to just say out loud, even though I know we all
Mhm.
know it, I understand that this show is probably also dealing with having to shoot during COVID. So there
Yeah.
are certain things that may come off a certain way on screen that it's like, well, how else did you expect them to get around it? But
Mhm.
so that's not something that's lost on me. I can still have these critiques, we can because it's art. But I
Mhm.
think Logan really worked for me this episode now that the angst is gone, like, oh my God, Shanice, she left me 400 years ago and I can't
Yeah.
get over it. It's like,
Mhm.
now that he's just like popping up, helping out
Yeah.
here and there, I like him more. Him
Yeah.
with Hayden playing chess and also him lying to Hayden. Like, we don't know why I lost this contract. It could be,
Yeah.
for any number of reasons. Like, I was like, okay, this is the Logan and I wish we had have gotten from the start.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I would have been here for him for the whole series, but this. We didn't need Bridget. Like, we have not seen her in
No.
400 episodes. So why
No.
even add that portion to the show? Like, uh,
Bridget was at that hotel the day that
hey,
Meredith, was it Meredith, after she lost
Mildred,
it?
Mildred,
Mildred,
yeah,
but yeah, Mildred
yeah.
lost it. She was like, I ain't coming back to this place no more. Like,
Hey, she
it's
divorced him. Yes.
she's like, you said it's already complicated with your ex-wife there.
Hey.
And now people got telekinesis and the guards don't do nothing
Hmm.
except stand and look. There that scene between him and Hayden actually worked.
Hmm.
um I also appreciated the danger that they were
Hmm.
showing, having somebody, outside of the sanctuary,
Yeah.
kind of close to them with that, the brick being
Hmm.
thrown through the window. So
Yeah.
yeah, I actually did enjoy, the both of them kind of working, together, or I guess playing off of each other, especially with
Hmm.
the chess scene. So
Yeah.
Logan, that was a pro.
Yeah.
The Another thing that stands out as far as a pro, I actually didn't. Shout out to Anita Baker, "Sweet Love."
Ha.
So I was so happy. Like,
Hey.
yeah, like that should have been the wedding song, instead of the other one, which was like, what
Yes,
was?
we belong together. Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good song, but I
I
mean, Sweet
no,
Love is right
yeah.
there. But yeah,
Anita Baker gets, that was a pro for this episode. But
absolutely.
it,
Yes.
yeah, as far as like a serious thing, I did like that. And I was wondering how you felt about this. They suggested that Rev had actually tried to reach out to his son.
So I think it's cheap. Now, again, with everything I said before in
Hmm.
mind, COVID,
Yeah.
having multiple people on screen, I understand that part. But if we're looking at simply in continuity of the show, I thought it was
Hmm.
cheap. Like, okay, I,
Yeah.
I, I think it's good. However, I
Hmm.
think not showing him actually on the phone. Like, there
Hmm.
doesn't have to be someone else actually on the phone, but not
Yeah.
showing him pleading with his son, talking to him, apologizing, like having that
Hmm.
conversation. I think that was to his detriment because it feels like they shoehorned in that I talked to my son thing so that by the end, it kind of amplified the ending. Like,
Right.
oh, also he talked to his son. I was like,
Yeah.
So, but I'm not against it. I just wish it had been done a little differently. Where
Mhm.
because if we get this whole elevator scene with you and Keisha, was that last episode or the one
It was last
before?
episode.
s- You can't just be like, yeah, off screen, I was talking to my son. Like, give me that.
Right.
We heard this man's voice
Hmm.
on the podcast 7 episodes ago. Let's
Yeah.
hear it again. So I liked it, but I didn't like that we didn't see the conversation. That's my issue.
They should have had him call somebody, and it's like the voice of the Peanuts teacher
Yes.
on
Yes.
the other end,
Yes.
and then like to
Yes.
represent, his son getting very like upset, it just goes
Yes.
louder, starts talking
Yes.
faster. Yeah, I just
Uh,
thought that was I thought it was, I don't want to say a cop out, but I was disappointed because they were going back to the
yeah.
previous episode, that conversation. And
Hmm.
like, if you're going to do a callback, to him possibly thinking about what, Keisha
Hmm.
said to him, that's a huge moment. It's not a throwaway line when you're talking to somebody, a random character with that we ain't met before this
Hey.
episode, to say like,
Hey.
well, I tried to call my son and he didn't pick up. Next scene, how's your wedding going? And it was just like, no, okay, that
I don't.
you're it's an important like kind of growth, possible moment of growth for him.
Hmm.
Even outside of like, the who killed JR of it, but we know who
Right.
did. It was Manny
Hmm.
Fresh. But yeah, it just I when he said that, I was wondering because I know like last episode
Yeah.
we had pretty strong opinions about how they handled that.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. I didn't. I don't like it.
mhm,
I don't like the way it was handled. But even more importantly, I think with Rev, he has never, and correct me if I'm wrong from last episode, apologized for not necessarily his views. Like if you felt that way before and your feelings have changed, sure. But there's nothing in his character or in what's been presented on screen that would suggest that he has a change of heart outside of saying I called my son. Like
no.
he hasn't
No.
apologized. He hasn't been like,
Mhm,
man, there's like even after Keisha told him there's so many people, he didn't like think back on him being with
mhm.
Noah and him being around Shanice and like there was no. It's like
Yeah.
he's the same person.
Mhm.
Like there's
Yeah.
no changes been made. Like
No, I mean, he, like I said, the phone conversation was his growth, and then he got stabbed. Um, so like, it just seems like
yes,
they've been taking a Rev on this weird roller coaster where it's just like he was going up, he was going up, he was
yes,
going up. I mean, then
yes,
he had his bumps where he was like, I ain't calling the mother of my child. I'm not calling
yeah,
my child. And then he went back up
yes.
and he got with, he started hanging out with Mr. Green or whatever. And then ever since Mr. Green got thrown out of a window, that's when he just
He's scared straight.
his descent has just started happening. Like
Yes.
he figures out his abilities. He's questioning his leadership abilities.
Mm-hmm.
He's questioning, no, not even questioning. So then we had the big conversation, which we
Yeah.
wanted, but not on the
Mm-hmm.
elevator with Keisha. It should have been with the son. And then in this episode, they just
Yeah.
stab him, but with the character that we are not the biggest fan of. And I was just like, what is going on? What
Yeah.
is going on? Because
This.
even with him possibly being the antagonist, we were like, this is a good Jordan Collier
Yes.
stand-in. Like,
Yeah.
if this is where y'all are going, so it's just like this weird
Mm-hmm.
roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
with him. And like I said,
Mm-hmm.
he gets stabbed. And then talk shit over it. Like he's just like, man, he's just like wiping off the blood and
Yeah.
this needed to happen. And
Which
then he just disappears. I mean, we can go into that. I didn't know if you want to go into that or just keep going like with
I
the
I
positives.
hate him. Well, I mean, do I? I'm sure I have some more positives, but I probably have
Yeah.
more negatives than positives. So we can go right into it.
Well, there was one thing, and now the Rev just taking away the abilities without even knowing how it worked. For some reason, that worked for me because
Okay.
when you have a suggestion of people now over time, when you use your abilities, here's a comic book nerd, stuff for the both of us, like X-Men and all that.
Yes.
Um, when you're using your abilities for the first few times, it's going to be kind of chaotic until you can get a
Yes.
handle on it. With him, that's what kept happening.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like, he was just doing it randomly and he didn't even know. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think the sound effects didn't know, because there would be a point where, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There were a
Yeah.
couple of points where when he did it to June, you heard the song, not the song, you heard the sound. And when he
Mm-hmm.
shook Jose Mandy's hand,
Nothing.
nothing. You heard no sound except
Nothing.
Mandy go, he just made this face.
Yes.
And because like when he tried to, like, did he make a face when he was like,
Yes.
it's like he tried to
Yes.
disappear. Yeah, so I do like the randomness of his abilities, of
Mm-hmm.
him trying to, not knowing when he was using his abilities, because he didn't know he was able to do this before
Mm-hmm.
Mildred threw that man out the window. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was a pro. So I got one more pro, but you can go to your
Okay.
con
Oh
before
no, I got a Ji-un. She is the con.
oh wow, okay.
Yes. Yes. Her and Harold. Yes. Both of them.
why were they the
I
problem?
listen. I'm all for homegirl. Forgive me, I
Yeah,
did not look up her name, but I'm get your check, sis.
right.
But for her to walk into the sanctuary, hey Rev, take my powers, marry us. Shanice, will you do all of the work? You've been married before. I was like, the writers, y'all are doing her so wrong. She looks like a bride, like a terrible person.
Right.
Harold, you couldn't Harold. You've been alive for the last 30 years. You
Yeah.
you don't know how. It was, and this is minor stuff. This isn't really
Mhm.
like I'm angry, but I was like, Gion is making a lot of people do a lot of stuff for her, and sis,
Yeah.
your power is the most tame out of everybody's. You,
You got the glow up. You literally got the glow up.
I mean, you got your same 30 year in the past body. You found your homeboy, your man from back, and like you
Yeah.
winning.
Yeah.
Ji-un, it was terrible for me this episode. I was not a fan. Shanice was stressed half the
Yeah.
episode, make
Mhm.
her wedding, checking people. I was like, man, Ji-un, you ain't even
Yeah.
you wrong, girl.
I
I'm sorry.
did think it was a lot. It was another thing to put on her plate, um, with everything that Shanice was having to deal with, because she was. It just it really came out, and then also having to worry about this the secret, the donor, the donor that
Hmm.
is helping.
Sean.
No, I wanted to avoid. I was
Oh,
trying to wait till the end of the episode to
yo,
tell you
my bad.
something about that, but
Okay.
yeah, but they did say no. The head of the company is a woman,
Sierra
so
Stone. Sienna Stone. Yeah.
Sienna Stone. So yeah, so
Hmm.
hopefully we'll get to see her. And what if it is the lady that Isabel from the
Bro, let me tell
from
you.
the
I'm telling you right now, y'all.
yeah.
Anybody who's following me when I'm live tweeting, if
Mhm.
Isabel pops up, oh, I'm
Yeah.
flooding the timeline. I'm acting a fool. Yes,
And then
yes.
and then like the Thursday after, we're gonna be like, oh damn, all this shit.
Right. How dare she? No, yeah.
Yeah, I really hope they don't do Sean wrong. I know it's not going to be
Man.
Sean, but I hope that actor, if the actor
Yes.
walk in as like one of the security guards,
I'm gonna
that's
be
going to piss
pissed.
me
I'm
off.
gonna be
Yeah,
pissed. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna be pissed.
but
Oh man.
yeah, but no, Shanice she looked pressed. Like there was a lot happening. Um, so for
Yes.
her to have to deal with the wedding was a little bit much. So let
Yeah.
me get to my last pro.
Okay.
Actually, I enjoyed Soraya, and
Oh yeah. She's on my list.
because
Yeah.
yeah, with the big reveal, and her and Dr. Andre are so over the top,
Hmm.
that it still works for me, because like
Yeah.
Dr. Andre is always like the man at a time,
Hmm.
that whole thing.
Hmm.
And then, but then when the scene calls for it, he does act serious. But then they will have him doing the camera phone thing where he's just like, ooh, ah, that type of thing. But
Yeah.
with her, she's just like this geeky, nerdy,
Hmm.
um, you know, person who was just killing it. But the thing I liked especially was that she told the ever smiling Jarrell from this scene, because he was happy. He was just like
Hey.
so happy. But this is the
Yes.
first time that his smile came down, because she was just like, you need to find out what Manny's all about, because there's stuff that he's not telling you. But my question is, did she know he was there? Because that I'm still confused about if she actually she helped Jarrell figure out the code, but did she figure out because she knew about it? Because from learning it from Manny, and I'm thinking no, because you remember my theory was last week that she was working with Manny, but if she's like, it's like you can't trust this motherfucker, like, whoa, that's kind of a about face to say about somebody you've been helping.
I mean, she is a triple agent, but no, I'm with you. I'm like, I'm right. I'm subject to believe that she did not know that maybe she figured something out. And I think out of all the government officials, she was the one who was more susceptible to believing in the supernatural. So even if she figured it out, I think it was like, oh, well, with this equation and this, Manny must be invisible. But like just sat on it maybe. Like there's no way. I don't. M equals MC squared. Manny is in room 403.
And he's going to call himself Jorge.
It's just so. All the names.
Jorge. He was like Jorge. Yeah. So what was the other thing? I just don't like the iguanas. I know that they're going for because now this is getting into like what was it, the QAnon thing? Like because their theories are like very, very out there. So I know that they're kind of tapping into that. But it was just something about when Tim Russ was like, "You are iguana." It was just like I would have laughed in my dad's face. I was like, "What are you talking about?" That's
just say lizard person. Yeah, like, and that's the other thing. This isn't, and I'm now looking at this, I'm wishing that they had have played up that QAnon stuff a bit more from the beginning, because then it would be something where maybe calling someone a lizard person who was a 4400 would be a derogatory thing akin to, the N-word, like, or something like that. So, because for it to come out of nowhere here, and you haven't established that not only are people angry, like we've had countless angry people over the course of the season who could have leaned into that. I don't know. I'm all this to say I'm with you. I agree. I think that was
it's just, and like I said, and that's I don't know if that's a semantics thing, but I just like every time they mention that, there were the words that it's like the Sesame Street word of the day. Iguana, government, because everybody kept saying government. And the 40 forum. And in my mind, it was like, wouldn't there be multiple websites, for
I mean, because honestly, when Manny was doing his sleepaway camp and stabbing Claudette, I expected to see other 4400s there. Like, why was it just her and some dudes in the back playing with rocks? I was like,
well, there's okay, so did they show anybody using like their abilities, or was it just like okay, because I saw a guy walking with a rifle, like with a gun, and I saw a woman working at a computer. Like it was like you could tell they were going for like a underground resistance type of vibe. It looked like it was under a freeway overpass, which was weird, and I was like, but that's still out in the open. So that was one thing that was very confusing to me. But when you call it the sleepaway camp,
I mean,
it looked like she was dressed in like sweats, and then I will say that scene where he just stabbed her. And now that's something I will give the scene compared to Dr. Andre or Shanice or LaDonna doing their, trying to test her limits. Seemed, I don't want to say, it seemed innocent, compared to him just stabbing her, because when he just stabbed her, and I knew they were he's trying to get her where she is able to control her tolerance for pain. Like she ain't about to be like Logan Wolverine in this piece, but I think that's where he was trying to get there. And then like he's quoting not scripture, but he's like, saying all these like deep, not deeps, like I don't know, it's like quotes or whatever. And so after that, it just that whole thing kind of lost me. But the act of kind of comparing like where she's been with learning her
Yeah.
abilities with them and them. It would have been nice to see somebody using their abilities, because right now
Mm-hmm.
all it looked like it was just a bunch of humans or regular folks, non 4400, just kind of chilling under a
Mm-hmm.
bridge. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually now want to know what the scope is
Yep.
of their movement. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that it's just contained to the. I hope it's not just contained
Detroit.
to the what do you call it? Like the Belle Blanc, the Bowie
Yeah,
Blue,
the
the Belle Blanc,
boy.
the Blue
Yeah,
Blanc,
that too.
the
Mm-hmm.
boy.
The
Okay,
blue
the Boo the
bloods.
Boo,
Yep.
the Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, stabbing. What else was there? Something else that didn't work for you?
Let's see, a lot. So
Whoa, wow.
Jiyoon and Harold. Well, not a lot, but Jiyoon and Harold, I wasn't a fan of them or their union. No,
Hmm.
I'm giving them a lot of shit, but I was very
Yeah,
unhappy. Let me see. Hayden, for me, I would be. I kind of am okay with it because he's still technically like a 15-year-old kid.
yeah.
But for all of the things that Hayden has been through, for all the things that he's seen, these visions and stuff, and for
Hmm.
his love of Mildred prior to her going rogue,
Yeah,
for him to like yell at Logan like, "Oh, she's messing everything up," and I get the idea that like, "Oh, I finally found a home that I feel safe in, and now
yeah.
she's ruining it for me." But you had so much love for her, and people change. I'm kind of seeing both points of view, his and Mildred's, just like I kind of see LaDonna's dad, but I also
Hmm.
understand where she's coming from. I just did not like Hayden. Um, Nothing against the actor or
Hmm.
even like how he presented everything. It was just
Yeah,
him. Some of his choices, I was like, this doesn't feel like that's your best friend. This is your
hmm.
homegirl. This is your number one ride or die. And
Hmm.
it's like you not understanding enough to be like, she's looking for her sister. You know the shit she's been
Yeah.
through. You saw her at Ipsy Med
Hmm.
where not only did she use her powers, you had a nervous breakdown. Like
Yeah.
I don't like the way that they're taking him. If that's his
No,
attitude,
he was whooping ass for her. He was
I mean
whooping
Andre's
ass.
ass. He push
He-
Andre through a wall.
yes, he was whooping Andre's ass, and
Hey,
he guilted two adults into
yes,
taking him. He was like, "I ain't got a driver's license, so I need y'all to drive me." And he's like, "LaDonna, I know you know these newfangled cars." Um, Guilted those
yeah.
adults. And like everything you just said, because he saw what she went through, in
Mm-hmm.
addition to his experience with being
Mm-hmm.
put into a sanatorium because he was depressed or he was
Yes.
nervous.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to have this, yeah, like you said, for him, it seemed weird to me also.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did like the scene between him
Yeah.
and I keep saying
Logan.
Jordan, but him and
Logan.
Logan.
Yeah.
But when he now that he like, what she was on. It wasn't like after you came out the hospital, you had a scene where you sat back and you were just like, I don't know, something seems up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but if but and yeah, and right, and you physically assaulted a person because of how you felt. So it would have
Mm-hmm.
been nice to kind of see some trepidation. And to be honest with you, this is the episode where he has shown that trepidation because we
Yeah.
haven't seen the family because they got the dodge. Except Logan came back and was like, "Hey, I'm cool with y'all people. Like, I
Yes.
almost saw an attempted murder in front of me, but y'all are fine." Like Logan seemed like he cool for everything.
Everything, bro.
Like he just cool.
Everything.
Like, let's go camping. He's like, "You were fine as upstanding 4400."
Yes. Yes.
But
Logan is weird, man.
yeah, he's cool. I mean, it's been so many weird character arcs in this show.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but Hayden, I don't think that's, and once again, we're like 2 episodes from the end. So we didn't get
Yeah.
to see him have a chance to be like, well, let me rethink this. It's like, no, you should have been cool with that.
Yes.
You know what Bill Green did. Like, you shocked, but your foster sister is like, oh, I got the vapors. It's like,
Yeah.
like it seemed like the vapors
Yeah.
moved from Hayden over
Yes.
to
Mariah. Yeah.
Mariah.
Yeah.
Like, come
No, for
on,
real.
man.
Yeah, that's
She was like,
terrible.
and then Shanice like, you love a killer. I love it. And it was just like, an attempted murderer.
Bro, yes, yes. Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
Mariah gonna lose
Um,
it now that she got that red hair, but yeah,
man,
man.
say it's over.
Yeah, man.
Um, it's wow. That's well. Okay. I did think of something I did enjoy, and that was the
Yeah,
reception. Like overall, I
yeah.
did enjoy it from start to finish. Moving around,
Hmm.
s- sitting with
To different
everybody,
people.
the powers coming back, like and all
Yeah,
those. That to me worked. I was like, okay, this is a montage. This is what I want to
yeah.
see.
The sad thing was, as soon as Shanice's abilities popped up, I was like, so like, I said, Rev dead. I said, Rev dead. Rev, not
Yo,
Rev's unconscious. Rev is dead. Because Manny walked in like, he's like, I know what you did. And then like
yes,
Rev is like, what the fuck, man? I just shook your hand. Like, Jose.
mm-mm.
But
Yes, yes.
yeah, as soon
I
as
yeah,
as soon as Shanice they had that not the flashback but the memory, I
yeah.
was like, oh god, that actor ain't got a season on this thing.
And I hated that. I hated that. As soon as Manny walked in there, I said, no, I tweeted, I was like, is Manny about to kill him?
Right?
It didn't feel right. I was like, this is not what
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
It
I
just
didn't
it
like it.
the reception worked for me. I say because of the music choice. Once again, shout out to Anita Baker. Like it was just something
Yes.
weird. Like this seems like a wedding song, and I'm glad they didn't like throw in some
Yeah.
like I'm not saying I don't like the music from now, but
Hmm.
I thought that it would have been something because when LaDonna was like, "Oh yeah, also DJ," um,
Hmm.
I thought she would have like got something from her
Yeah.
time period, but I was just like,
Yeah.
nah, she went back to when his character
Mm.
probably actually still liked black people,
Right.
and he was like, I love this Anita Baker. Ooh, she's not an iguana. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're but that worked for me, and
Hmm.
I was so happy actually to see that um Mildred got her
Yes.
abilities back because
Yes.
I love telekinesis, and I was just like, if you
Hmm.
got to show without the telekinetic, it ain't
Yeah.
working for me. So
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I thought that was amazing. I don't know, just seeing everybody let their hair down, coming
yeah.
from
Hmm.
episode one falling onto Belle Isle, just breaking bones and shit, to like now where the
It's
only
like
thing,
boom.
yes, the only thing I wish they had have done, and this isn't, I don't know how this is going to sound, so I'm going to preface it by saying if this is problematic, someone please let me know. I don't believe it is, but Ji-un and Harold are Asian. There has to be some sort of cultural context, even if just with music, that could have been infused into, because they felt like they were just the MacGuffin. Like this gets us to
Hmm.
this point. And I would have liked if they had have been a little bit more involved, because
Hmm.
even the Sweet Love, that was great. I was all
Hmm.
for it, but I was like, as an Asian woman who is in her chronologically in her maybe late 40s, early 50s,
Hmm.
is this something that she would listen to at her wedding? But I'm not mad at it, but it's
Yeah.
like I'm
I mean,
whatever.
maybe it was Harold's choice. I mean, like,
I mean, maybe.
yeah, like it was Harold's choice. He loved that R&B, and
Clearly.
then yeah, or LaDonna was just like, nah, I'm mixing it up. I've been living in like iguana,
Yes.
captivity for like a
Yes.
month. This is what I want on my playlist. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, there was something I was about to repeat something about Tim Russ.
Hmm.
There I'm not going to repeat another. I was going to say that the first time Claudette saw Jose Manny,
Yes.
um, I liked how she played that scene. I think she actually did a
Hmm.
better job of like, kind of keeping it
Yep.
undercover, but you could see like on her face, like this is some
Hmm.
bullshit. So
Hmm.
the thing was is like I would have I might have actually liked that scene more if I cared about Jorge Manny. Like I just because I know that was supposed to be a big reveal before they went into the
Yeah.
flashback. Yeah, they went to the flashback after that, and my
Hmm.
stupid self was like, "Oh, look at her
Yes.
putting her hair up."
Yes. I thought that
Just
too.
because she went to the park and I was like, she was so pissed off. She was like, I gotta do my hair and go to the park. And then Manny showed up and started talking. I was like, "Oh, this is a flashback."
Bro, it took me so long to realize. No, no shit.
Okay, so you weren't the only one because I was sitting there like,
No.
this is so why is he coming to talk to her after she was pissed off? And I was like, oh, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
oh man. So okay, so I wasn't the only one. Let me say what you're gonna say because I was gonna
No, no,
hop on something.
I like the scene. I just think they didn't put enough of a like filter over the flashback. It felt like
To
it was
make it
just
look
happening. Yeah, because I
right.
was like, no, what the hell?
Yeah.
I also again hate to reiterate, I just don't think that the actor playing Manny is has that vibe. Is like it,
You've got
it
that
just doesn't fit.
vibe.
So it just doesn't
Vibe.
fit. But I mean,
New J-
I guess I'm for it, but
Mhm.
I feel like it's he's doing too many things, too many
Right, and
places
that's
at
the
once.
thing. Kids, that was a New Jack Swing song. You got that
Mhm.
vibe. And it was I was singing it horribly. Um, and there, we watched that Janet Jackson
Okay.
documentary, and they were talking to Jimmy Jam and was it Terry
Mhm.
Funk? No, I think it was whatever, and then New Jack Swing. But um, sidetrack. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that he is going to grow as far on me as far as being the main. Like I hate to say this, like Jessica killing it more than he is as far as being the
I mean,
antagonist. Um, and
Rev.
that's what'd you say?
No, I said her and Rev. Yeah, well, not
Yeah,
Rev so much, but yeah, Jessica.
yeah. The other thing, and I don't know how folks don't feel about this. Um, Shanice and Andre. Um,
Ooh,
I don't. I It's not okay for
is that
me.
working for you?
It just isn't like I think I don't know. It's getting I don't know. There's early on we got to see them. It seemed like it was working more so than it is now, and now
Hmm.
maybe because everybody's being kind of pulled in different directions. I don't
Hmm.
know. I just thought there's something that it's just not vibing like, and it's not so much that this ain't a Nissa and Grace
Ooh,
situation.
yeah,
Like
no, no,
no,
no.
this is not that at all. But it's just
Hmm.
it's something that, and I don't know. I think it's probably maybe because things are just getting chaotic or whatever. But I'm just not seeing them as much as them together. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it's making any sense. And then the
No,
whole
I,
thing of
I,
her dancing with Logan as long
yeah.
as she has, because like that was the longest drink that Andre ever got. I was like, did
Hey.
he walk to the other side of the hotel to
Hmm.
get like a special drink? Because
Hmm.
I thought in true CW network fashion that they were going to
Hmm.
have him come back and look at them and go, "Oh
I thought so
dear."
too. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, something from the 1920s, like
Yeah.
sassafras or something.
That's
That's I didn't know 1920s term. So, but that them dancing and maybe nothing was happening between the two of them, but
hmm.
because they've had this back will they, won't they, will they, won't they type of thing.
Hmm.
I thought it was just going to be become another CW network
Yeah.
love triangle. So,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Same, same. No, no, we're in the same boat. I was waiting for that moment, and then to have her run back to Andre after she got her powers, it was like you could have just went with, "Oh, I'm so upset that you know you're dancing together." I don't know. I like the moment she had with Logan,
yeah.
but because we haven't seen Bridget in 400 episodes, Mariah wasn't there because this feels like a scene you would want Mariah in. Like this would be gold
That's
for
yeah,
her. So
yeah,
I don't know. It just felt kind of incomplete, but
yeah.
yeah.
Um, and we talked about this, but I might have accepted the stabbing scene. Well, the stabbing, but then also the healing of people who had lost their abilities.
Hmm.
But once again, Manny isn't working. Um, it was just I just felt kind of out of place with him being there. It's just weird, like,
Hmm.
and then I didn't realize like Logan. Like, why did Logan run in?
No, Logan. Okay, yeah. Why? No,
He's on
no,
the
you're
dance
right.
floor.
I was about to explain. I was like, no, he was. Yeah, like, cause it wasn't even like
Right.
he ran after Shanice or like there was no reason for him to be there. Yeah, no,
I
you're
thought it
right.
would have been it would have made more sense for Shanice or Andre to run in because Shanice was trying to figure out like why she got her abilities. So maybe
Hmm.
she could have, try had been looking for the Rev and then finally found
Even
him.
Hayden, like if
Yeah.
Hayden had been freaking out, yeah, because it's and the one detriment I think the Rev scene in relation to the reception scene is that I can't place where Rev is in the hotel. I'm sure he's close by, but
Hmm.
I don't spatially I don't understand how far away he is from everyone. So
Right.
again, for Logan to walk in, that looks even weirder because why are you just walking around the hotel?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Mhm. Um, and anything else? Because I got like one last thing.
Um, Not really.
Okay.
I like Soraya's lesbian bowling team.
Bowling team. Yeah.
That was
No, the
pretty
name of
cool.
the what was called the
Lesbian
lesbian
pins.
pins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was just like, yeah, it's just what we do. So I like that.
It actually made me want to go bowling now. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, do I catch COVID just to get to hit 12 pins down?
Bro.
So no, I'll set up like bowling pins in like my backyard and get
Yeah,
frustrated.
yeah.
So the only thing that got me was, and I understand why they're doing it, but like you got it. The 4400 don't need to be in just one spot.
Hmm.
You gotta spread people out. I mean, I understand that like they're trying to build a defense, but I in my mind, because you know how some folks do, they
Hmm.
will just like and we're gonna and I think I will say what I think we are building up to is a big battle scene,
Hmm.
and I hope it's done well. I hope we don't lose any people.
Hmm.
As far as from the main cast, actually, I know who
Yeah.
you want to lose. That random lady from the episode like
Yeah.
12 episodes
I got a
ago.
list of people I'll get, and she was on my list. I got a list of people to
Yeah,
bring up. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
but so I don't know. It's just like this thing of like now Manny is this threat that we didn't even know that I don't need or
Or
whatever.
want. Yeah.
One, you have the government, you have the racist, and then you possibly have this, benevolent donor who has given you all this money. And
Hmm.
most of these villains were revealed like like half of these villains or possible villains were revealed like 2 or 3 episodes before
Hmm.
um the end of the season. So that's kind of, I think, but and so we're they're going to catch it from all sides. So I don't know why everybody is like congregated is like in this one spot. I wonder also what happened to the other 4,400 centers that they were
That's
talking about.
That's what
Hmm.
I in my head canon is they're going to pull a Lost in season two if it's ever given. We're getting a
Hmm.
whole nother cast of characters
Wow.
who are in another facility and maybe sprinkle
Yeah.
in some crossover, but I doubt it.
Hmm.
That would be
Actually,
nice, but I doubt it.
that would be nice. Yeah, that would turn it into like an anthology style show,
Hmm.
where you're telling different stories.
Hmm.
So who knows? But yeah, we still waiting on a second season announcement.
Hmm.
Any anything else on your end?
Yes.
This okay?
Where's Sean? Who cuts Rev's hair? Uh, When did Rail speak to Quincy? Sienna Stone, I don't trust her, but I think that that's the front for Sean.
Yeah,
Where's that white lady from episode 3 with the dark reddish hair who
yeah,
played chess and
yeah.
disappeared? I don't
Hmm.
trust her. Where's that Caribbean black man who could start fires? Um, what else? And then I can see both sides for LaDonna and her dad. But and Noah? Where is Noah? Where's Noah?
Noah gone. Noah's still at Ipsy. Is
I
Noah
am
is
so
still at
mad.
Ipsy? Yeah, they left Noah's
So
ass. They ain't going back at all. Um,
that's a
Sean, I'm answering your question about Sean. Do you want to do the
uh-huh.
favorites? No favorite? No favorites.
Oh yeah,
Do you
no
least
no
favorite?
favorites this episode. None. Fuck everybody. Yeah. But
um,
yeah,
so who's your favorite? Who's your favorite?
Claudette.
Claudette. Okay, so my favorite was turn my trapper keeper. Um, that's so sad. I didn't even put a favorite.
Well,
Real talk. I did not put a favorite. I I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. NA.
Nobody really stood out to me. I tell you who my least favorite was. Tuvok. Um,
Yeah.
the racist Tuvok. Yeah, and what about you? Who was your least favorite?
My least. I have to go with Manny. I
Manny.
wasn't even more than Tuvok because it's like whatever. This man came in, got his check. He was terrible, but like we've seen campy over the top
Yeah.
villain. Manny to be for the station that he's supposed to be at in the show. I'm
Hmm.
just not. It's not landing with me.
Right.
Um, and I'd actually probably change my favorite to LaDonna. I am a
Okay.
fan of Claudette all day, every day, but I do think
Yeah.
LaDonna was a standout for me for this episode.
Yeah. Even like I say, even with the, I can actually, so I can put something in that box. That would be Ladonna because I think even with the goofy situation that they had put her in,
Hmm.
because she wasn't campy, she wasn't over the top.
Hmm.
And sometimes camp is not bad, but it
Right, right,
was
right.
just like him looking at the door and then
Yeah.
just running. It's just weird to me.
Hmm.
Um, my favorite scene was a toss up actually between just them playing Anita Baker
Yes.
or the iguana attack, the holographic iguana attack. Those were my two favorite scenes to choose from, but I couldn't
Yeah.
choose one. So
Oh, I think the reception in its entirety for me was the
mhm,
favorite, or specifically everybody getting their powers back. But
yeah,
that sweet love was perfect. But also that Mariah Carey, "We Belong Together." You know, when you get to a certain age, certain songs
yeah,
trigger old school memories, and that was
hmm,
very much high school. Like
yeah.
that
You
took
see
me there. So I was like, oh shit. So I think the reception as a whole for me was like my favorite. My favorite.
Okay, got you. Um, okay, so mm, I'm just gonna go. Let's just use iguanas because they were mentioned a lot in this. Out of how many iguanas, holographic, projected iguanas, are you going to rate this episode?
And we're doing out of five. I'm
Out
gonna.
of 10.
Oh, do we? Oh, I know. Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
We know. Well, no, because we've been rating this like
Yeah.
it seems like
Okay. No,
consistently
no.
like
You're right.
sixes,
You are
sevens.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. Where did I get? I was confident. We're rating out of five. No, out of 10. Yeah. Because how do we do eight something? I think I did eight something.
Yeah.
I would go with out of holographic iguanas. I would give this a firm five and a half.
Okay. We going lower, ain't we? We going back to the low ones.
Oh no.
Yeah, because last week I think you were like a seven. I was a 6.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at a six. Like
Okay.
yeah, I'm at a six.
Yeah.
And I think for the last week, a large part of that was because Claudette came back.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Yes.
Um, but yeah. So I got, yeah. So for me, it's a six. So okay. So to answer your question about Sean, in the trailer that I saw,
Hmm.
I think we're finally going to get Mildred's flashback. We
Okay.
saw her, and they focused on another like young white teenage girl who I
Hmm.
think is who's gonna I'm thinking is her sister, and
Hmm.
they showed this like scraggly beard, long haired dude from the side. That I think is the actor. Yeah,
Oh,
because
Sean.
his face looked like shaped like that actor, and
Yeah.
Patrick Fugler or whatever.
That sounds about right.
I think it because he's on Chicago PD.
Oh,
Yeah,
is he?
Patrick.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been on. That's like one of them shows. People on those types of shows where he's like, I ain't leaving this shit. They're like, you want to do a
Yeah.
movie? He's like, no, I gotta act my ass off in
Yeah.
Chicago PD. There's so much crime to talk about.
Oh, he got a little weight on him. That boy is big. Oh
Is
no!
he okay?
Oh
See,
whoa! Okay, no. Well, compared to how scared, because he was a young kid on the first series, he was like 20 something. I'm looking at him now, and this dude look grown, grown.
yeah, no,
Yo,
yeah, I've
that dude
seen
is grown.
yeah him and if you want to see him something more recently, like he's been on. He might be gone by now, but when I was watching Chicago PD before, it started making me upset.
Hmm.
They there was some problematic stuff on there, like when they dealt with like race relations and shit.
Hmm.
It was as dumb as when Walker used to deal with it. I mean,
Oh,
Walker would roundhouse racism. It was dumb, um, but he's been on there for a while. But I think that's the actor at least
okay.
in the trailer. And they did, it was a quick shot. It was, but I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure that was him. So and
Okay.
that episode is also going to be directed by one of the co-creators of the original 4400. Uh,
Hey,
yeah,
hey, okay.
so we'll see.
I'm
So
with
we
it.
shall
I'm with
see.
it. Well, I'm excited because I, for whatever reason, I never catch the like the next time on. I
Yeah.
never catch like ever. Like,
Hmm.
but cool, cool. I'm excited then because I wanted some connection to the the original
Hmm.
series. So this is the good him or Isabel would be like
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. I mean, Jordan Collier would be even. You know what I'm saying
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
better. But yeah,
So we'll
cool.
see.
Okay, okay.
So episodes left, y'all, and no season two announcement yet. So
Which is
we'll see.
which is pissing me
Okay.
off because there are other
Yep.
shows. I'm sorry, Riverdale is like on its 58th season. There's no way you're gonna tell me that this show can't compete with one season of Riverdale. Just one season.
Yeah.
Any of them random ass seasons, but you know, it is what it is.
We'll see.
Bruh. Well, this has been fun. Let's see. We have a few. Oh, hello, hello. Mo says so. Hey, how are you, Mo?
Hey Mo.
And then let's see, John. What does John have to say? John says, "Oh, Jarrell and Manny are back. I'm at work, so I have to kiss the pocket." Oh, okay, that works. Okay, come on
That's
back.
awesome. That
Yes,
works.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed, yes, indeed.
You
Man,
just
I don't
don't
know.
get to see our like crazy facial reactions.
Right, right. But no, no, I thought this was overall, even with though my rating went the way it did, I
Hmm.
think I enjoyed a lot of aspects of it, a lot of pieces of it because we've been on this journey.
Hmm.
Um, but I still wouldn't change my rating. Not for not you know.
Hey, I mean, you can if you want.
No, no.
I'm thinking, okay, because I'm like I think we've consistently kind of stayed in that like 6 to 7 area.
Mhm.
I think we went 5 for the mid-season premiere where we were just
Cuz that
like,
just wasn't it.
it was rough. It was rough. Um, so we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Well, I'm going to happily, watch the next two episodes, hopefully the
Hmm.
ZMT, Mildred's
Yeah.
sister, Mariah's crush, uh, everybody getting their powers back, Claudette staying at me. Like all these storylines, I'm just hoping that they kind of, wrap up and
Resolve
don't.
themselves.
I mean, you're gonna have to. I don't want a cliffhanger that,
Might not get
like,
answered.
what's the show? Deadly Class. Like that was a terrible. That was a
Hmm.
perfect cliffhanger, but a terrible cliffhanger to not get a season two.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, that's how it be in these television streets. I mean,
uh,
be happy it ain't on Netflix because Netflix don't
hey,
they're like how many people watch it the first week,
mm-hmm,
and then they
mm-hmm,
just there are a lot of shows. And I think this is one that would work well with having a season two to kind of learn from what's come in the first season and just kind of grow
mm-hmm.
from there. I
Yeah,
always tell people a lot of Trek shows are
mm-hmm,
not good the first seasons. It's only like
mm-hmm.
the second and third. I mean, I'm not going to say they were horrible, but
Yeah,
you know, when you remember like Star Trek: The Next Generation, that first season, I told you they went to a planet like that was an Africa planet. And it was like you could tell that the show had been written
what?
by nothing but like middle-aged white guys.
Mm,
It was weird. And even the guy that played Riker was like, it was one of the most offensive shit things he had been a part of.
hey, hey,
So you go from there to Locutus of Borg, or
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
a lot of the classic Next Generation episodes that we all like. But
Yeah,
no, I mean, just sometimes the show needs it needs a chance to get its footing under itself.
yeah, I agree.
Um,
I agree.
so we'll
I agree.
see.
Oh, this has been a wild ride, man. Two more episodes
Yeah.
and we done. Well, with this
Hmm.
leg of the series.
Journey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So let these folks know where they can find you, support you, reach
Mhm.
you online.
Yeah, y'all can Instagram handle is robertk.jeffrey, robertk.jeffrey. Actually, can I give a special shout out to
Go ahead.
I'm a comic book writer for people who don't know, and one of the books that I wrote are adapted from a novella by Milton Davis,
Hmm.
won the Glyph Comics Award, 2021
Okay.
Glyph Comics Award for Best Story. So shout out to Milton, Jason Reeds of 133 Publishing, Mateo Illuminati, the artist, the pencil inker, and the
Hmm.
colorist letterer, Loris Ravina. Shout out
Come on.
to the
Come
whole
on.
team because that was
Yes.
it's been a labor of love, a cool, awesome labor of love, and it was a pleasant surprise to get the award. But we
Good,
won.
good.
They announced it yesterday, so
Well, congrats to all y'all.
mhm.
Yeah, there's so many moving parts to comics, much like TV. So kudos to
Yeah.
everybody involved because that is, oh, that's a feat. Best story. All right. I see you out here writing stuff, writing the best of. Cool, cool, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. So maybe they can get you on season 2 of 4400. You know what I'm saying? Write
Shit,
something there.
if they watch this podcast, I don't know about
Hey, you know what
that.
I'm saying? Art is meant to be critiqued. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Yeah.
it is. And we ain't the
I
only
mean,
folks
we've been constructively critical, and considering some of the people that
for
I've
years.
talked to,
Yeah.
right? They and we've been on
Yeah.
this ride for 4400 for a minute, so
Yes.
we love we
Ooh.
love the franchise. So, where can people find you?
You can find me at 4400.com. No. And
Don't do
Twitter.
that. Don't do
No. Twitter. That's where you find me. Carefree Blurred. Instagram Carefree Black Nerd. Email me carefreeblacknerd@gmail.com if you got some more to
it.
say. Um, and bynkradio.net, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Hanging out over there too with the folks. But that's pretty much it. Twitter is the most immediate way to get in touch with me outside of email. So
Cool.
check me out there. Yeah, man. Well, that's it for episode 11. You know what I'm saying? You only meant well and sweet love and all that good shit. So until next time, man, stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky, stay appreciative of your powers that you've
Hmm.
gotten. Oh, one thing I do want to mention when
Yeah.
Rhea first talked to Jihan and Harold, and he said, "You guys are proof that God, like, looks out for the little something." I
Yeah.
thought he was about to say, "You guys are proof that God looks out for fools and babies." I promise you, I thought he was gonna say, "I'm hollering." I was like, "God damn, he rude," but no. But he was like, "Yeah, you got whatever." Okay, whatever, y'all. Well, this is the end of the episode, and we will check y'all next week. Same bat time, same 4400.
Gotcha.
Stay